Welcome back everyone to theCUBE's live coverage in Washington, D.C. for Nutanix NEXT 2025. I'm John Furrier, host of theCUBE with Bob Laliberte, and Paul Nashwati is out doing briefings, getting all the data for you here. Wall-to-wall coverage about to go on to the live keynote on day one. Debo Dutta is here, Chief AI Officer for Nutanix. Love the new position, also in engineering side, we'll get into that. Jason Langone, Senior Director, Global AI Business Development. Gentlemen, you guys are the AI czars of Nutanix. Okay, we were talking before we came on camera. The customer action is enthusiastic, beyond recognition, the hype cycle's in, but there's a lot of action going on right now in the AI side. So welcome to theCUBE, and
thank you.
Thanks for sharing. What's on everyone's mind? Everyone's re-architecting, I'm re-platforming, security, everything's a do-over, right?
Yep. Actually, on that note, people are beginning to realize that they have to get into AI soon, yesterday. So they're trying to scramble. They're trying to do their POCs and figuring out how to bring that POC close to their private data.
Yeah, I mean, I would add, and then how do we operationalize all this? It's great we stood up a capability in the lab, but now we got to turn it over to IT to care and feed and maintain for the next 3 to 5, 7 years.
You know, I was kind of talking about the hype cycle, which by the way it is, but and all kidding aside, there's some real action going on, and it's an exciting wave because there's infrastructure, I call it the middleware, which is cloud native with Kubernetes, and then the whole app cycle. Some are saying that the agentic wave will be either 10 to maybe 100x the size of SaaS in terms of valuation, but it's not yesterday's SaaS where you just build an app, put it in the cloud, put it in the app store. No, 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 it's an engineering by default enterprise.
Yes,
this is the difference.
It's a new architecture.
It's a new architecture. Everyone's rethinking it.
Way to put
so
it.
AI is forcing everyone to go, okay, what does our business look like? Yeah. That's what you guys are seeing right now. Do you agree with that, and what observations would you say is in that scope?
So I think it's, what we are seeing is a top-down movement. People at the top of the enterprise, they see the value of AI this time around, because AI is not new, it's been like there for many decades. But there is this amazing thing about the current wave of AI where you can actually get some productivity improvements with AI. So now when you go top down, you have to figure out people, process, tech, and how do you put this into production within the guardrails of the enterprise. Jason?
Agentic is the talk, right? And if you think about it, now you've got an app not just talking to a large language model, it's talking to a guardrail and a reasoning and maybe something you've tuned. So you start to imagine many, many apps, you've got AI spaghetti. So that, to me, that's one of the interesting things that we're addressing is how do we give an organization centralized governance and control and serving of these models?
So you guys mentioned a couple of things that really ticked a few boxes for me. One, you talked about the people, process, and technology. You talked about it being top down. One of the things that I see is the organizations, the actual operations teams, being a little bit reluctant to adopt the technology, or it's maybe there's a time to comfort for them to get used to it. What do you guys think about AI adoption? Obviously the executives want to see it. When you're in the field with the teams who are actually the people who are doing it, that have to do the processes, what are you starting to see?
So when I talk to our customers, I see that they are very excited, they want to adopt it, but they don't know where to start. Okay. Because they've done their POCs, their data scientists have done their POC, but the IT team is trying to figure out how to bring that POC back into production. And that's where I think there's a lot of learning, because again, they have to figure out the people and the training and the processes. They have to re-architect a little bit, and they have to go cloud native first. Those are the challenges that I see on an engineering side. Okay.
I'm stealing time to comfort. I like it a lot. And to me, that's one of the kind of the anchors of the value Nutanix brings with enterprise AI is, Matt, like we could pull it up right now. 3 clicks, you've authorized the model of Hugging Face, NVIDIA, imported your own. 3 more clicks, you're serving it up. This is the simplified operations we need to deliver.
All right, you can steal time to comfort. I'm going to steal AI spaghetti. Okay.
Deal.
Because AI spaghetti is interesting because we all talk about spaghetti code, which means it's a mess. Throwing spaghetti against the wall, we've heard there's cliches in tech. But what's happening though is there's a lot of shadow IT-like patterns we're seeing. So remember the old shadow IT days? They'd go around IT and go to the cloud. AI, same pattern, going around. So we're seeing the same movie again. And so what comes out of that? One, innovation. Hey, slap your hand, okay, good job. Or how do you rein that chaos in, as Andy Grove would say. So what do you guys do? How do you make AI better? Because you kind of want to let the market run a little bit, let that shadow AI go on. We don't want spaghetti, we want to rein it in. How are you guys balancing that? Because you're in the middle of the action, because you're enabling with the platform some of those innovations. And again, it's coming out of the platform engineering side, as well as the consumer side of the enterprise, which is the analytics teams.
Yeah.
So what do you, how do you how do you resolve that? Do you agree, and what's your thoughts?
So, so we have a threefold strategy to deal with the rapid pace of innovation. So AI, so the way we look at it is AI on Nutanix. So we want to have the best agentic platform running on Nutanix, our whole infrastructure, so that we can speed up things. Then AI at Nutanix, so we are using the same platform to optimize Nutanix. And then in AI in Nutanix is we are trying to improve our products with with AI. So basically, by doing this in a 3D-dimensional way, we can actually take care of the innovation, but at the same time, AI, the AI platform that we're building, as Jason mentioned, it gives you very simple ways to do data operations. It helps you, helps the IT manage it with a centralized management point of view.
So three things were, what were they again?
AI on Nutanix.
On Nutanix.
AI in Nutanix, and AI at Nutanix. And you know, our platform gives you simplicity and gives you control.
Jason, Jason, do you agree that the customers are also adopting? So I'm seeing the same pattern going on at the end users. It used to be vendors would provide supply solutions to the end user to consume it, but we're seeing almost a mirror image of what customers are doing to what the platform's doing. Do you see that same picture? Because I'm seeing large enterprises kind of doing the same thing. I use AI for in, at, and on.
I spot on. And one of the, I just came out of a partner session. One of the main talk tracks, like I go back 15, 20 years to VDI. It's like, all right, there was this technology a long time ago. I think last time I was here, that's what we were talking about. But one of the important things of being successful then was engaging the end user community, getting them comfortable, hearing what works, what doesn't work. It's the exact same thing here, right? Everyone wants to use it, many people are using it in some shadow form, but there's a lot to do around enablement, removing the barriers of being comfortable with it, and also getting this feedback loop, because this stuff is changing every other day, every week.
Yeah, and how do you leverage the insights you've gained from it being in and on, I guess, with your customers who are trying to deploy it? Because obviously, John talked about the hype cycle, AI, everything's AI these days, but the actual skills and resources for people out in the field, right, your end users, aren't necessarily all fully up to speed, so how do you help leverage what you've learned inside of Nutanix to help accelerate the adoption at your customer?
That's a great question. I would say two things to come to mind for me. One is how you can get IT operationally ready, right? Because ultimately they need to be operationally ready to receive this and again, run these workloads if this is really going to impact an organization and continue their competitive advantage. The other is how do you quantify the value? I mean, we've got some great internal success stories we've done and has helped us build out a methodology in helping customers quantify the business value of overcoming a challenge.
So customers always want to see how we've done it before they actually bet on this technology. So we are seeing that.
Got it. You guys are about to have the keynote come in. I want to ask about how customers are transforming. We've been talking digital transformation for a decade, but there's a real business model transformation going on. Again, this kind of speaks to what's going on with the AI side. You're seeing business logic in the models and in the apps, but it's powered by the infrastructure and the platform. Okay, you got to orchestrate, you got to scale, you guys talk about global scale as a differentiator. That's going to come from the platform side. I don't see a lot of predictive analytics groups scaling globally, although they use data globally. So I don't think the forcing function is going to come from the top. In the app side, I think it's going to come up from the bottom. Your thoughts on that piece?
So I think what's happening is people are using large language models to actually talk to their own data. So for example, every enterprise has private data, whether it's docs, whether it's spreadsheets, databases, video streams, images. They're using large language models to extract meaningful information and then feed it into their analytics systems. And we will see the reimagination of the analytics, enterprise analytics.
All right, so I'm going to ask you guys a question. Pretend I'm a customer, okay? I'm sold on Nutanix culture. I've known you guys for years. HCI is an evolution. You got Cisco, you got Intel, you got Dell, all these partners. I get the HCI story. But I got all this people pitching me all kinds of things, AI factories, all this stuff coming at me. Why Nutanix? Aren't you just infrastructure? What is the current pitch to the customer, I don't mean sales pitch, I'm talking about value proposition. Why Nutanix now? How do I integrate you into my re-architecting global infrastructure for our business?
So actually, I'll take an engineering view and you can do a field view of this. So the value prop of Nutanix AI is that we will give you a shared control point for your IT to kind of run large agentic endpoints and large language models, which is the most expensive part of your new enterprise workload, with simplicity, control, predictable cost, so that you can really drive your AI adoption and get away from shadow IT.
Yeah, rein it in.
Yeah, rein it in.
How would you say, you're in the customers all the time, what was your value proposition statement?
It bridges the gap. The AI factory is typically consumed and it intrigues the ML team, the data science team, for good reason. Adding Nutanix Enterprise AI, NKP as well to that story means that we can cross that bridge from, it's a successful POC, is successful in the lab, successful over here, so now we can move this fully into production with our production IT team, support, et cetera. Because if you can't bridge that, it stays over here as this really, really interesting science project.
So basically the pitch is, we don't slow you down.
So yes, that, and I'll summarize what Jason said. With Nutanix AI, you can run an AI factory in production.
Yeah,
I like it.
And no one wants to be slowed down. Yeah.
Right, and then the other piece of it though is we talked about, you started talking about the shadow AI and things like that. How do you, once you're deployed, help the the teams with a little bit of compliance to ensure that the data is not going out to the cloud, that's not going out? Are there any things that you're doing around governance and compliance with your AI as well?
Absolutely, so the whole product is centered around control and governance and compliance. So for example, we give access controls. Enterprise IT can give very detailed access controls, so who owns what model and who has access. Then we have audit logs, we have telemetry. So with a combination of these technology features, we give the enterprise IT complete control of the infrastructure, running large language models and endpoints.
Guys, thanks so much. I know we had to cut this short because of the keynotes kicking off. We got a hard stop. We're going to cut the stream, go to the keynote. I'd love to do a deeper dive on your role as Chief AI Officer, and certainly this we could do probably another hour. This is a super important topic. But let's just end with what you guys think the show vibe here. What's happening at Next? I know we're in day one, but you've had some dinners, you had a session with partners. You know what the content looks like. What is the vibe for Next 25 for the folks watching who didn't make it here on premise, on site? On premise, look at me talk about on premise. If they're in the cloud.
Yeah.
Okay, what's going on? What's the big story here?
So I think the big story over here is that Nutanix is a transformed company that is also going to help you for your next 10 years of your IT transformation with modern workloads and AI.
Any app, any model, anywhere. Buzz is great.
You guys are great. You got the bet on containers, you got Kubernetes growing like a weed, agentic wave growth coming. Productivity gains, by the way, great point on that. That's where the economics are going to kick in. theCUBE bringing you all the data here, real time on the show floor here at Nutanix Next 2025. I'm John Furrier. Bob Laliberte, Paul Nashwai is also here. He'll be on, but he's out doing briefings, getting all the data for you. Check out siliconangle.com, of course, cube.net, and thecuberesearch.com. Thanks for watching.